About 5 years ago, I used to serve in multiple ministries at my church in Corona. One of the ministries was a community outreach program called Adopt a Block. Adopt a Block consisted of a group of volunteers meeting up at about 8 o'clock and volunteering their time on Saturday mornings to a lower class area in Corona. This area usually had kids ranging from 3 to 12 years old and families ranging anywhere from 6 to 7 people. Typically there was a father and a mother, but some families only had the mother and some grandparents. Where we served was an area that was located in a cul-de-sac in Corona. On each side of the cul-de-sac, there were apartments. Usually, if you can imagine, lining the streets was trash, toys, sometimes we would find diapers. It was a very dirty area. I would just like to quickly share the scripture with you. Romans 12:11 says, "Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord." So I would always like to keep that scripture in mind when we would go out on Saturdays, just to keep what I was doing in perspective, not making it about me, rather make it about who I was serving. So in this area, like I said, it was a dirty area. There was always trash there. So we had groups of volunteers that would go around with black trash bags picking up the trash. We also had groups of volunteers that would go door to door inviting children to come out and play with us, but usually all the kids would be ready for us when we got there. They knew that we would come every Saturday, so they were usually pretty excited to see us. And when they did see us, we would get together with them, we would pray with those who wanted to pray. Some of the kids did not want to pray, which was okay, because they still stood around and they got to hear the prayer. And we did this whether it was raining, a beautiful day, cloudy day, it didn't matter. We would go out there every Saturday. On days when it was raining, we would usually bring easy ups and have Bible studies, encourage the kids to remember the books of the Bible. And on days where it was good weather, we would typically play Red Rover, soccer, marbles. We used to play marbles with the kids, which was really fun. We would play basketball using a shopping cart at the end of the cul-de-sac, which was always fun. Even though they didn't have the hoop, we would still take basketball as seriously as, maybe a little bit too seriously. But usually their households were, pretty small, but they had a lot of people in the households. So anywhere from 2 to 3 kids, 1 or 2 parents, and always the grandparents for staying in the household. Usually what we would do, the people who we would serve, rather, we always kept their needs in mind. We never wanted to be an imposition on them. So when we served, we always made sure that it wasn't about us, and we would always hear this scripture when we prayed. Our group leader would share Galatians 5:13, which says, "You, my brothers and sisters, we are called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." And that's what we did, and those were the values that were instilled in us. To not feel like we were obligated to serve, rather serve humbly, and not making the joy that was coming off of these kids about us. We wanted to make sure that they knew that we weren't told to be there, and that we were simply serving because we wanted to. And going into it, having that mindset, it actually really does fill you up spiritually. We try not to make it about us, but sometimes the Spirit just moves into us. So I remember this one day, I had been serving in this ministry for about 2 years, and this one particular day was going to be my last day serving. I got really close with one of the children at Adopt a Block in the area, and I let him know that this was going to be my last day serving. So I told him that we had to have a translator because it was a primarily Mexican area. There are some African Americans, some whites, but primarily a Mexican bloc. So I let him know that this was going to be my last day serving, and we both kind of got a little bit emotional because we had developed a strong bond. We were playing soccer every week. He would always want to be my partner in Red Rover. And just we had great times, and letting him know it was going to be my last day was kind of hard for me. But even though I let him know that, I was secure in knowing that the group of people that were going to be coming back to Adopt a Block were going to treat him the same way that I did, and respect him and love on him wholeheartedly and be genuine in their actions. And I was able to leave Adopt a Block secure in that fact. So I just wanted to leave that with you, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. Thank you so much. Have a great day.